Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy Mr. Box Office from Mr. Box Office TV, back with another show for you today. And on the show today, I just want to speak about the main part of the show is frustration. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Mr. Box Office TV, back by popular demand, but in Mr. Bottom's eyes, but maybe the Marmite of the Tottenham fan base, and it definitely has been shown the last couple of weeks or so. You've seen a different side of Mr. Box Office. You've seen a different side of Alex, and you've seen a different side where he's been a little bit more calmer. People say I rage quit as well, still the same way, but I beg to differ. But it's going to be one of those shows today where I need to justify why I say certain things because I think I'm very misunderstood. But we also will talk about other things as well in terms of the transfer window as well, because Tottenham Hotspur, if you look and believe what's in the press at the moment, are not really moving very well at the moment, not moving at all really to what they could do. We've already had a few signings through the door that have been really predictable in that sense. One that was out of the blue, one that is quite a nice one that could have been potentially good in Morgan Gibbs White, but that now is turned into just an absolute saga, which I'm now getting fed up of, really. I was fed up of it a few weeks ago. And so we've got things to discuss there as well, and players that need to leave as well. And we'll discuss that as well. But welcome to the show, everybody. It's been a long time coming, this show, and a long time something that needs to be taken off my chest because we'll get off my chest and that's it. One thing I will address though, that was said earlier on today. One thing I will say, I love Lubo. I absolutely love Lubo to pieces. Right, he's a great guy, but he talks way too much. He talks way too much. When he said that, I've got to work, I'll go to work. What did Mr. Box Office say all that time? He don't work. That was something else. That's none of anyone's business. What my business is, what I had to do. Yeah, there's a certain time frame I can go on a stream certain. In a show certain time, yeah, definitely 110%, yeah, but there's no way I was working. That might be Alex's business, but that's none of anyone's business whatsoever. So please dismiss what Lubo said about Mr. Box Office working. I mean, that's him talking way too much. You know what I mean? So that addresses that side of things because I just had to say that. Please don't. If anyone starts talking about Mr. Box Office's business, that's not their business. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. That's another thing as well. Anyway, now on to the main part and what I really need to talk about: the frustration. And this can be frustration about the club, but also about the fan base as well. The fan base that, well, let's be honest here. If you're not fully backing a manager, and which is funny because again, when I premise this, I absolutely, firstly, I'll still challenge this guy, but I still love this guy because to be fair, and I've said it, well, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because I'll leave people to guess. But I will say this. Well, I still love this guy though because he still backed me, and he lets me on his show. Unlike someone don't let on their show, right? Sava, right? He said something that he was incorrect, 110% earlier, incorrect. I have been very kind about our new coach, Thomas Frank. Yes, I have. I've been very complimentary about Thomas Frank, but even more saying he's shown me he's an actual coach, He's even more shown me with the coaches he brought in. He's organised the coaches that are coming, the coaches that are there. So the coaches that he's got, he's organised them in saying they've got specific jobs, what they want to do. And when he talks, he don't annoy me, unlike the previous manager. We don't need to go into that one. We don't need to go into that one at all, don't we? But unfortunately, with everybody, whatever anyone says, he still needs to prove himself, regardless. And I only will get to know him even more at Tottenham Hotspur, because let's be honest, unfortunately, he was at Brentford. He was at Brentford. That was the thing. And again, he could prove me wrong. Absolutely. And his example is Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino didn't want him at the club, wasn't interested in him. Let's be honest here. I thought, well, I wanted the ball, Frank de Boer. We didn't go for him. We went for Mauricio Pochettino. He proved himself after a year. And then I fell in love with the coach. That's the proof. Villas Boas thought, why are we getting a Chelsea reject? After the first season, I thought, you got me cooked, because the way that you coached and got the best out of Gareth Bale and certain players, certain members of the team, definitely got me on board. 110% got me on board straight away. After the first season. But with Thomas Frank, and then it just seems to be the same old thing. We did it with Postecoglou. I had to say his name. I do apologise. We did it with Postecoglou. We said, we've got to back the guy. We've got to back him. Even though certain people didn't even know nothing about him whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, I had doubts about him. Yes, I didn't have my facts. No, I didn't. But I had my history of Tottenham Hotspur. I had my history of what we've done before with previous managers. We had the history of what we had done before with previous managers. But look what happened a few months later. We got too excited. I said, no, we're getting a bit too ahead of ourselves here. I see things that are not right, because it wasn't just Dan and Saba that said it. It was me as well, because I was getting the flack. I was getting people saying to me, running me off shows like they're doing now, saying, "Oh, he doesn't talk about facts. He gets too angry. He's not worth having on the show." I had people running me off shows all day long, every single day. Year later, oh, Alex, you must be right. You were right. You were right. And then 2 years later, oh my gosh, yeah, you were right. You're absolutely right about him. He's absolutely useless. He's a terrible coach. Oh, I want Højbjerg back in my midfield. This is terrible. Oh, this is awful. Oh, this is predictable. Everything I said from the very, very beginning. So fast forward to now. Now I'm saying, no, I'm not saying I've got doubts on Frank. I'm saying there are going to be challenges for this guy right now that I'm putting towards you. Now I'm saying, yeah, firstly, you're a good coach. You've got some good coaches. Justin Cochrane, interesting one. He looks very promising. Former Tottenham coach as well, backroom staff before as well. Interesting. I've done some research on him. He looks good, but there's still things there that, there's some people can just be number one, just only can be number twos. Steve McLaren. Steve McLaren was a very good number two. As a number one, as a manager, as an actual coach, head coach, wasn't looked as very good at all. So, there are question marks. There could be question marks on him. I remember this is another example, and I can't remember his name now. Who was Jose's number two? And he was very well. I can't remember his number two for Tottenham Hotspur, and I can't remember but he was looked as a very good number two. I can't remember his name now. Oh, João Sacramento, yeah. He came to Tottenham and he was very well recommended. He was very highly rated, I mean. So I couldn't even get my words out. Right, big up to everybody in the chat, yeah. Big up to everybody, 14 of you that are watching right now. Big up to you all day long. Big up to Brian, big up to Brian Daigle, big up to Sue Smith, big up to Sue Smith, big up to Sue Smith, by the way. Right, we will carry on, but I have to big up to people that are watching me. I have to big up, because I can't ignore I've got to not ignore the audience right now, because it's nearly 12 o'clock at night and people are watching the main event speak and main event unleash. Big up to you. Big up to Sue Smith. Big up to Sue Smith, because she backs. She backs, you know, she supports. Big up to you. Big up to you all day long. Big up to you, Hayden. Big up to you, Destiny 5. Big up to you, Destiny 5. Big up to you, Brian. Good evening, everyone in the chat. Big up to my brother, Mr. Boxer for TV. Hope you're well. Big up to you. Big up to Scott M. Big up to you, Scott M. Big up to you. Big up to the two Marks. Big up to Stephen Wilson. Big up to you. Big up to Rhonda Pertel. Big up to you. Big up to you. Who else is in the chat? Big up to, if I missed anybody, big up to UK Roots. Big up to you. Big up to Igor. Is that Igor? I think, yeah. Big up to you, Igor. Big up to you, Igor. Big up to everybody who's watching. And please like and subscribe, and please support the channel. We're nearly up to 2,000 subscribers. I'm going to keep on trying to do that. Please like and subscribe. The link is pinned up there as well. Now, back onto this at the moment. For me, this is the problem. I lose my thought, and I lose my train of thought sometimes. So you have to bear with me. This is my problem. This is why I need to do more streaming, well, do more shows so I can keep on point. And that's why I'm doing my show on my own as well. But back onto the point. The thing is, though, right, with Thomas Frank, it's not that I don't like the bloke. It's got nothing to do with me not liking the bloke. I'm very, very calm about him. And that's why I was a bit annoyed when Saba said, you don't say anything. That is not true. That's not true at all. I've never said I was not. I'm actually more calmer than this. All the managers that have come in so far after Pochettino, this has been the calmest I've felt for an appointment for a long time. So when Mourinho, didn't like him, wasn't having him. Nuno, I mean, the same thing with Nuno. People said back Nuno. It could be another situation like that. The only difference is I don't think he had his actual coaching staff. That's the thing. Didn't have his coaching staff. And so, look what happened with that one. People said need to back it, and then after a month or so, or 2 months or so, they said no, sorry. People said he needs to go, and that was history. Conte was never really for us anyway in the first place, but I had to get on board with it in the end. That was the thing. So it's the same old thing. But and then the whole thing with Postecoglou, like I said before, everyone was on board then. Look what happened. Yes, he got on won a trophy, and I think that's kind of made me feel a bit more calmer, to be honest with you. And it's not just a trophy; it's because it's a European trophy. That's the thing. A very good European trophy. But the difference is with this one at the moment is that, yeah, I do think Frankie's got some good potential to coach these players better and do something with the team, right? But the reality is, managers have only got 18 months, and certain things that he has said, with saying, I need to see some of the players. Then we've now seen that we're going to have 2 friendlies tomorrow. He added the one with Wickham that is going to be played at Tottenham Hotspur away, right? And then we got Luton a few hours later, I think it is, it kind of shows me that he needs to see these players, because I think he realizes that if he doesn't get, which is likely he won't get everything right now, that he needs to work with the players that he may have to have. So he might have to work with Charleston, even though he wasn't in the squad, which again goes back to my thought. And even they mentioned it earlier today. What if Solanke, who hasn't really impressed me, gets injured? Your main striker is the below average Emil Heskey, aka Richarlison. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, Tottenham fans. Your striker could be below average. Yep. Emil Heskey, aka Richarlison. And we've seen how useless he's been for the last how many years? And that was a £60 million signing. And that's the definition of a backup. A backup. And this goes to my fault of being ruthless, because we've got too many players in the squad. And for me, if he did his research, he should know from what he's seen and knowing the full well of where he was coming into, what team he was coming into, what we've got ahead of us, because we achieved Champions League and won the Europa League before he got appointed, or after he got appointed. Well, before, after, I can't remember now. Anyway, before he got appointed. See, it's late. It's late at night, guys. Big up. You have to bear with me. You have to bear with me. But with all that, with what's happened with what's happened with the whole thing with the I lost my train of thought now. I've absolutely lost my train of thought. It is a Friday night. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me, guys. You have to laugh. We have to laugh. It's a nice sunny day outside as well. I think that's really got me going as well, because I was thinking about it, thinking, oh, I need to say something. I need to say something because it's just really getting to me. And then obviously you had James trying to rattle me, and then they call him a hit. Oh, I mean, main like a flop man, maybe. You know what I mean? Unlike a bloody hitman, please, honestly, don't give me strength. Give me strength. But yeah, Saturday morning now. Yeah, big up to Hotspur Hood. Big up to you, Dan. Big up to you, Dan. But it's for me, if he's a more ruthless manager, he'll be able to sense 70% of the squad and only need to decide about a few or 5 players, maybe, possibly. That's what Dan was, well, on the lines of what Dan was saying. And for me, that's a bit concerning. That's the only thing concerning me a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's not against him. It's just really coming to the whole thing about, has he got that ruthless sort of side of him? You see what I'm saying? And I know, because someone made a point to me privately about this and said that Pochettino was kind of similar to what Thomas Frank did when he came in at Tottenham, when he kept the likes of Ryan Mason. Funny, Ryan Mason now. Now he's a manager of West Brom now, and Bentaleb, and they ended up being first team players. But the point I'm making is, I don't know if these players that he's looking at that probably could be in the squad are going to compete to be in the squad, being in the first team. And that's what concerns me a little bit. If they're not able to compete with the likes of Bentancur, if he's staying, Basuma, if he's staying, Romero, if he's staying, Van Ven, who's obviously staying, the likes of Poro, Udogie, Solanke, you know, Alderbear, Tell, Johnson, you know, Son if he stays, which I don't think he should stay, but you know, that's another story. If they're not competing with those players, they are just backups. And like I said, backups are useless to me because when the backup becomes what happens when the backup becomes the first team, then you expect them to do something. Then the pressure's on, and that's when we were struggling. That's why we were 17th last season. That's why we had to. That's why our previous manager. I'm not going to name him again because I'm fed up of talking about him. Right? It, that's why our previous manager. We felt we finished 17th, and our previous manager only focused on the Europa League, mainly to save his skin, which I've said. Not just Sean said it because he didn't say it. You know, he's only said it because now, but you can see it from a mile off. So it's nothing special about him saying it. So that's the point. So that's the point I was trying to make earlier today, and it was just so frustrating. And this is where I go back onto the fan base. It's more a challenge with the fan base than the players anymore. And I've said it how many times. The energy I get, and the energy I get raining through my body is when I get people having a go at me and saying, you're chatting waffle and this and that and this and this. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, why am I chatting waffle for? Because the next couple of weeks after the Super Cup, if we get absolutely annihilated or thrashed by Paris Saint-Germain, don't have a good start, what are you going to say then? If our transfer window ends up just being what it is right now, all of you lot will be complaining. And the next thing I'm going to hear is Daniel Levy out. What is Daniel Levy doing? That's what I'll be hearing. Oh, I feel sorry for Thomas Frank. I really feel sorry for Thomas Frank. He's been let down by the ownership. That's what I'll be hearing. Because I know this fan base. I've been through it so many times. I've been through it way over too many times now. I see the patterns that the way that this fan base acts. And I see the patterns the way the club act as well. So people tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, I actually do know what I'm talking about because I see the patterns of the way that we act, the way that our club acts as well. And when people say, "Oh, it's too early," no, it's not too early. Because why is it we don't keep managers more than 18 months? Because the fact is, we are not a club that keep coaches for a long time. We never do. Pochettino was an anomaly. It was an anomaly. Pochettino, let's be honest here, should have only been here 2 years or 3 at max. But I think because they looked at it and thought, well, we're going to go into a new state. We've got to go into the new stadium. We can't change it right now. We can't find a new manager. That's why we kept him. Yep, Brian's absolutely spot on what he says. Big up to Brian. He says Redknapp and Martin Yeo as well. Yeah, they were an anomaly. But really, the main thing is the director of football. That's been the main problem at Tottenham because we are focused as that's the main focus, the director of football. That has not been sustainable. That's been the problem. And if we had an actual sustainable director of football that was the main man and steadied the ship, we wouldn't have problems with coaches because if the coaches are not good enough, we'll get another coaching and they'll keep to similar coaches that play the similar way, and we wouldn't have this problem. That's been the problem all this time. And that's why when people say, oh, we need to buy the players that the manager wants, well, that's not possible. It never would be possible. So I've got no affiliation with managers anymore. I might say I want a Glasner, but still, even if Glasner did come in, he still needs to prove himself. Even if Pochettino made his infamous return, still needs to prove himself. Still needs to prove himself. So I asked in the chat, because there's 21 of you, please like and subscribe. Do you understand what I'm talking about now, or do you don't understand what I'm talking about? Say yes or no. Because this is exactly what I was trying to say earlier today. I was getting people telling me I was talking waffle. I was getting people telling me that I was telling absolute, I was just making it all up. So am I talking truth or am I not talking truth? That's the point. Now, if you don't agree with me, don't agree with me. Give me a reason why I don't agree. Because at the moment, I'm just getting to a point where I'm just like, what we doing here? You know what I mean? It's again, why is it you have to back a manager so much that it's not a case of being negative anymore? Because I'm not negative about this anymore, because I've got nothing against Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank is not the problem here. But the point is, though, unfortunately, there's certain things that have happened right now, recent times, and you're sitting there thinking, he's not sure. I think he knows that he might be having to work with certain players at the moment. And if he really was that ruthless, he'd be just like saying, "Sorry, you're not for my squad at the moment." You know what I mean? Yeah, you can play, but at the moment, I do need to get rid of you, because the thing is, I don't see you in my Champions League squad. And none of those players are going to be wanting to stay out that Champions League squad. None of them. None of them. I'm excused for how positive I am about Frank. I wanted him for over 2 years. I'm delighted with him. Yeah, I know Brian's definitely. I know you're definitely Thomas Frank, and you've said it for a long time. So you're going to obviously back him, definitely. So I'm not having to go at people that back Frank for very much. Thank you to everybody who said yes. I don't agree. But why do you don't agree, Destiny 5? Why do you not agree? Why do you not agree? Because this is the thing. I need to know. I need to know why people don't agree. Because at the end of the day, I just, I've got, this is why I do the show. This is why I do it on my own. Because at least then I can get an idea what people are thinking. Because it's about two people saying it. We play too soft. We need a hard man in midfield, and one up front. We got Romero. That's it. Well, yeah, I mean, I see your point, Stephen. But like I say, I mean, I think the problem is at the moment we're so focused on that bloody. I'm so bored of talking about what is it Morgan Gibbs White, because I think Morgan Gibbs White for me, it was quite fascinating. It was quite interesting when it came up. I was like, yeah, oh my gosh, that's really good. But I don't know. I think for me, the Morgan Gibbs White situation has really not helped at all, to be honest with you. And I think we should be trying to just move on from that. Really, if Forest are not going to sell to us, I think it's just best for us at the moment to just move on. Just move on from that, really, and go on and just find other targets. Because really, let's be honest here, and this is where I agree with certain things that were said yesterday in the Spurs 5 show. I think yesterday, and I think it was actually Sean that made the point. I think he made a very good point, to be honest with you. And sometimes I do agree with him. But certain things I think he talks a lot of waffle. But he makes a good point here. That sometimes you've got to move on. Morgan is White is not the main thing we need. We need a defensive midfielder, and defensive midfielders out there that are struggling at the moment. that are out there, and we're not going for them, and we need to go and get one. And if you're slow off the mark, good players go. You know what I mean? And we need to take opportunities. That's the thing at the moment. That's the main problem. That was the main problem last season. Our defensive midfielder, number 6, the monster 6, as Sean says. I'm giving him a little bit too much credit than I need to give him, to be honest with you. But then that is what it is. Destiny 5, he says, Alex, on what topic? On the topic of Thomas Frank, is he not ruthless enough? Is it really for him, when he knew he was coming into Tottenham, should he have known more, like 70%, like Dan says? 70% of Dan says, what does he did he need to know 70% of who he needs to keep in the squad, and who he's going to keep and who he didn't want, and now only have to decide on a couple of players, or 5 or 6 players, or 5 players, just to say, see if these players would fit to what I need, I need in my squad, and they can compete. That's the main thing. The problem is, I look at it as saying, can those players can they compete? Can they get better and try and compete for a place? So if they do get in the first team due to injuries, if they really excel in the team, the person that's out the team at the moment, they need to really push to get it back into the team. So that's what I'm trying to say. So it's more to do with, is Thomas Frank being too lenient? Is he too easy at the moment, trying to see the players for himself? Or should he be more ruthless, like a Pep Guardiola is, or a Ingo Muska from Chelsea, being ruthless? Now, I'm not saying he needs to do it in 2 or 3 weeks, no. But at least by the start of the season, he's got to have an idea who he wants. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's what I mean, Destiny 5. So big up to people watching by now. We've got 28 people in the house tonight. Big up to you all. Big up to Brian, by the way, because I can see that he had to go. Big up to him for supporting. Big up to Hotspur Hood, by the way, as well, for supporting as well. Big up to you. Big up to people in the house. Big up to Jibby Hotspur. Big up to big up to Daniel. Big up to you. Big up to you. Big up to people in the house. I think Frank wants players in now, but we all know the issue at hand, Levy. I don't really agree with this. Again, I think Levy is not the issue anymore, because with Vinay taking more of the football decisions now, I don't know if that's the whole issue now with Tottenham anymore, to be honest with you. This is just how the club is run. I think this is just how the club is run at the moment. And if I'm really honest with you, if Thomas Frank had an issue, he would have not taken on the job in the first place. Because, not every manager should know what they're getting themselves into. It's no secret now. It shouldn't be any secret now how the club is run now. And the fact is, at the end of the day, we can't just say, oh, well, Levy does this and he's gonna fail the manager again like he's done all the time. Well, let's be honest here, and I don't want to say it again. Postecoglou was able to win a European trophy. Now, I know. Listen, I know how we did it. I know I wasn't impressed. I'm not going to change my mind on that. even though it's a massive thing. But you know, Pochettino was able to get fourth how many times? You know, and you know, he worked with the players he had really made to his disposal. It's only towards the end of his reign it got a bit stale, which really we should have left. Harry Redknapp was always able to, you know, get the best out of what he got. Mourinho was able to do it with the players and the way that the ownership was as well. And let's be honest here, it wasn't settled upstairs either. Yeah, I think you had Steve Hitchen then at the time. You know, so I don't think it's just about Daniel Levy. I don't think it's about Daniel Levy. You know, I really don't. I think, you know, now Daniel Levy is, from what we report, if we believe reports, it's more to do with Vinay. Also, I think we can't ignore Joe Lewis in all this as well. We can't ignore that. I mean, I think for me, yeah, it's similar. You know, we're seeing similar traits. I've got to be honest. We are seeing similar traits. You know, one big signing in Kudos, and the others are kind of meh. Some young players as well in that as well. Danzo was already signed. Tell was already signed. Let's be honest. So I just don't think it's. I think in one way, Thomas Frank knew what he was getting himself into, because let's be honest, if he really, because he turned down reportedly the Man United job. So if he didn't like the structure, he didn't like the structure there. So when he came in, so now he's seeing what Tottenham Hotspur are like. He knows exactly what it's like, because you know there's no secret. It's no secret how Tottenham Hotspur are run. So I mean, for me, I don't tend to agree with that, to be honest with you. But big up to you. I mean, if you have any other points, anybody else that disagrees with me, please tell me. Say it in the chat, because that's what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. I don't know how long I'm going to be here for, to be honest with you, because you know, Mr. Box Office has got other things going on tomorrow, and I don't think I can sit on stream and talk about it. But like I say, I'm open to what other people are saying. Big up to everybody. Big up to everybody who's watching. It's madness. It's like I didn't expect a lot of people watching tonight. To be honest with you, I thought I was going to be on my own tonight. But big up to you for all supporting. Big up to you. I do feel that we need to be ruthless. Though. I do think we need to be ruthless in the sense that he needs to know what he wants, and I just think that with the time frames we've got, and I think this is interesting that we've got these two friendlies. He obviously needs to have a little bit more of an idea what he has in his squad that he wants to bring into the tour. In career, and he needs an idea what was going on, what players he wants and what he doesn't want, because you know he's put that extra friendly in with Wickham, so it's going to be interesting to see how the two friendlies work out. It's going to be very, very interesting how he navigates the two teams in the two friendlies. Is he going to have a mixture of young players and experienced players in the first one, or is he going to have a strong team in the second one? I'd just be interested to see how that would work out, and what would that look like in reality? Because I think someone said, I think it was either a journalist said that Thomas Frank likes to do things, new things, and try and be more creative with certain things. And this is very creative in that sense. It's quite obvious, and it's a good segue to this guy, that it's quite obvious that Heung-min Son is going to be there beyond the tour because of the fact that, this is mainly, he's going to be the main man in that tour. But I think a lot of people have cotton on at the moment. I think, this is where I agree with what was said this morning on the show. Big up, like I said, please subscribe to Football Heritage TV. He's nearly to 20,000 subscribers. And he works really hard and really promotes little channels and really works hard for us all. So even if you don't agree with him, he's a lot of fun, Saba. So please subscribe, and also subscribe to Hotspur Hood as well. Big up to them as well. And even if you should know about Spurs, the Spurs Talk Show. You should know about them. You should know about Sean's show, and you should be all subscribing to all Spurs channels. You should all, even if you don't agree with them, it's all a lot of fun. Even if you don't agree with them, I mean, it's worth to listen to everyone's opinion. And obviously Spurs Kings TV, my boys at Asthmatic and Marlon. But yeah, just to segue to Heung-min Son, who with reports are linking him away from Tottenham Hotspur to maybe America. So, which is an interesting one, a very interesting one. A very interesting, because for me, I think this just kind of shows you right now where we're at with Heung-min Son. Heung-min Son, I think for me, it is becoming that time. It is becoming that time at the moment where I think even a lot of Spurs fans are starting to realise it's time for him to move on. It is time for him to move on. Now, I know it's important, we can keep him for the tour. Absolutely. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. But yeah, I'm just trying to load it up, guys. But what the rumors were. But yeah, but for me, I think we do need. I think he definitely. I think it's about time that he does move on. He's. It's about time that he does find a. I do feel that it's time for him to move on, find a new club, because sometimes him winning that trophy should be the moment for him to just that's a good high for him. He's now found his he's got his trophy, a big trophy at that. He'll be known as the captain that won us the biggest trophy for the last 2 decades. So he's leaving on a high. And I think this is the right thing for him to do, for him to move on. Him staying for the memories, I don't really understand it. And he's taken up, like I said, we've got over 30 players. They're not all going to manage in the Champions League squad. We've got to be ruthless of the youngsters, the foreign players that we've got in the squad, because we've got over 17. So we've got to be ruthless. And I think for me, if you're going to go down a route, I think you can go down a route of keeping mainly your homegrown players, even if they're not home trained or club trained. And I think that makes more sense to me. That makes absolutely more sense to me. It's just going on this report right now where LAFC have approached Heung-min Son, is LAFC, who are in America, over potential transfer for this summer at their new superstar, well, as their new superstar. Talks early stages. This is Fabrizio Romano. Early stages, but Thomas Frank will also speak to Son and discuss future. Also, what's mentioned here, Son will have the finals and Spurs will have the final say. I think also as well, just to mention as well, that Son will make a decision on. He'll have the final. He'll make a decision as well on that as well, and he'd be the main person to make that decision as well. Big up to everybody in the chat, by the way. I mean, what are people's thoughts on Heung-min Son? Do you think he should move? Or do you think he should stay? Do you think, the way that, I mean, for me, I don't think there's too much of this, what I hear. But I mean, I guess there's two sides to this. But for me, I look at this like this. For me, I don't think the way that I don't think the previous manager played him to his strengths last season. But there was the decline with Son during Conte's reign. Around that reign, Conte's reign, I think it was. And to be honest, it's kind of dwindled for quite a while now to what we saw last season, where he really looked bad. And it got to a point where you're thinking, we need to move it on. We do really need to move it on now. And I think, he's got his trophy. I think for him to leave on a high, I think that's really, really important. Really, really important. Now I know I think we need to move him on. I think someone made a really good point. I think it was Dan. I don't want to give him an ego, Dan, but big up to him. I think Dan said it. It's like, I think he has not been the same since Kane left, and some of that could be true a little bit, and I do feel that we could move it on. 20 million at a bad price, and it does really give a space to someone else to come in for me. For, like I said, a bloated squad that needs to be really trimmed massively. And I think you can judge certain players under Postecoglou. I think you can do that. I think you have to do that in certain ways, because you've got to be ruthless. Sometimes it's just the time is right for him to just move on. I think the time was right, and I know I have supported him. Davis should have moved on, because Ben Davis has not been able to compete to get into the first team. He's always going to be a backup. Even when he's doing a job, he's just a backup. That's why now I look at Basuma. If he only can just do a job and he can't grow, you've got to let him go. You've got to be ruthless, because when you're not growing as a player and you're not able to grow as a player, you've got to make a decision on what you're doing. It's like what people say, and it was a great example. Sometimes you're in a job for a long time and you just lose your motivation. You just you just feel stale in the place, and you're not growing as a employee. You don't feel appreciated, and sometimes you just need to go to a new job. It's a risk. It is a risk in this climate right now. I'll tell you now, it is a risk. You got to back yourself. It's like me saying what I said earlier today when someone said to me, "Oh, You think you can take on Sean? I said, yeah, absolutely, I can take on Sean. I've got to rinse him to pieces. And sometimes you just got to have that confidence. It might be misguided, but sometimes you just have to have that confidence. It's what you see. I see a lot about, people I know, with, okay, don't take it offensively, people. It's people out there, ladies. I see people that I see, and you see, guys, and they're like, yeah, they're looking confident. You know what I mean? Very confident and got swag. You know what I mean? And it might be misguided, but sometimes you just need it. Because sometimes you just like, you're going to get, certain people that are going to have turn you down. But sometimes you just, if you've got that swag and ego, you don't care. You're on top of the world. You're on top of the world. And I just feel like with certain people, you look at our team and you don't see that with certain people. You can say that with someone like Richarlison, Romero, for instance. I think he's got a little bit too much of that and a little bit too much aggression in that sense. I think that's that sense, and that can be misguided in a bit of an ego a little bit. But let's be honest here. Look what he's won. Look what Romero's won. You know what I mean? We might say that he's up there. He's not consistent enough, but the boy can win. The man can win. He's won. He's won us our last trophy. He's influenced to winning that trophy. And so it shows you what arrogance can do sometimes. You know what I mean? Fernandes for Manchester United, look what he's won. And he moans. But when it comes to the crunch, who's the main player for Manchester United? Fernandes. Salah. He's got a bit of an ego on him. He's not a, easy person to manage. But when it comes to the crunch, who's scoring the winner and who's helping Liverpool win championships? Salah. So, unfortunately, these players do make a difference. They do make a difference. And this is the thing. When you've got players like your Davises, your Richarlisons, players that are just not good enough. Not good enough whatsoever. And they're just backups that are not competing, not making players like Romero, Van der Ven, Bentancur, Richarlison, what is his name? Solanke, not think about their places. You're sitting there thinking, well, what are you doing? You know what I mean? What are you doing? It's just this is why I'm saying we need to start, we need to start thinking about, we need to start thinking, this is the point. We've got to be more ruthless. And this is go back to what I say, he needs to have an idea. He's got to have an idea. The manager's got to have an idea, and the club have got to have had an idea who they needs to move on. Especially now they're in the Champions League. They must have. Absolutely must have. Big up to Kat. I'm not going to say is the last part. Big up to Kat. Alex, where are you going with this? What I mean is that, I do think Son needs to leave. He's gone downhill. He's not used to the squad anymore. He's not competing to get into the first team anymore. If he is our first team, well, that's a bit of a worry because that's not going to be good enough for the Champions League. It might be good enough for a few Premier League games, for a domestic cup, but to me, it's not moving the needle for Tottenham. And I think people forget we are Europa League champions. So there is going to be people that want to that look at that as a scalp. Teams will look at that like a scalp. So we can't rest on our laurels because winning trophies and winning big trophies do mean something, right? In recent times, it does mean something. We are Europa League champions. So we are a team that if we're coming to town, the opposition rivals are looking at it and thinking, oh yeah, really? You know what I mean? This is going to be good. You know what I mean? Let's challenge these players because this could be really help our group of players. You know what I mean? This could really help our team, really get us some confidence in our team, trying to beat us. So it's just what I'm saying is I think we just need to be. It just goes back to my point of being ruthless, Cat. That's what I mean. Because I just think it's yeah, I do. How many? And he replies here. I mean, big up to everybody who's watching. By the way, 43 of you watching. I mean, it's absolutely. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe to the show, please. And hopefully I can do more of these. And also then I can improve because as you see, I've really got more calmer, like I said, and maybe because I've done this years now and I've seen it, and I've now got to a point now where I'm just really just to debate the argument. To be honest with you, yeah, I do think I did debate the argument. But if you didn't understand what I said this morning, please watch earlier. I explained everything what I said, trying to explain. Yeah, I'm trying to get better, trying to be more succinct, but this is what it's all about. But yeah, it's going to hopefully be more improved. The content on the show, be more regular on the show as well. But Alice has got a life to lead. You know what I mean? And this is not a full time. Well, it's Mr. Bots Office's full time job, but unfortunately, Alex has got other things because he is a bit of a mug sometimes. Doesn't really worry about he needs to man up a little bit and sort himself out. But that don't say that Mr. Bots Office said that to him anyway. Moving on. The day it gets announced he's gone, it's going to hit home more. And then Kane, this Sonny, you will always be our Tottenham legend. You'll always be a part of Tottenham family, no matter what. Yeah, absolutely. He will be in history. He will be in history. Daniel, he will be, but it's time to let him go. It's time to let him go. He's not a captain anyway. So, and he's very undecided about the captain, Thomas Frank, which is interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. I don't think Romero's a captain, if I'm really honest with you as well, to be honest with you. Alex, big up to Jimmy Hotspur. Alex, on the scale of 1 to 10, how frustrated are you with the window so far? Good question. I think on a scale 1 to 10, I'm frustrated with window. I would say 7. 7. That's my answer. 7. I'm more frustrated. If I'm really honest with you, Jimmy, I'm more frustrated with the fan base because I think that was highlighted this morning for me earlier today. I think for me that's the thing that really frustrates me. I think Tottenham don't really get to me too much anymore because I've kind of seen it, done it, and had the T-shirt now. You know what I mean? And also, like I said, we've won a trophy already now. We've won the European trophy, so that's calmed me down a little bit, so to speak. So I don't really worry about that, but I do get frustrated with the fan base because they do the same thing all the time, and it gets really boring now. Listen, they can do whatever they want, and because at the end of the day, it's the way they support the club. You can't tell how to support the club, but I'm just seeing the same behaviours and stuff, and I think that's, especially with the whole thing with Thomas Frank. And again, I have to spell it out to people. I don't mind Thomas Frank. I really don't mind Thomas Frank. He's not annoying me. It's just when he said that he needs to see all the players, I didn't agree with it. I think he could be more ruthless, and that's alarm bell. That's a red flag for me. That's it. That's the only thing I would say. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But big up to you. Big up to you. Everybody's talking in the chat. But big up to everybody who's watching. It really is. And he says, how many trophies will we go? I go for. Okay. We have to go for a lot. We got to go for more. We're going to have to go for all of them, because when the last manager got sacked, the main thing that he got sacked for is that we want to go for multiple. We've got to compete on all fronts. So to me, that needs to happen. And he needs to compete on all fronts. The only problem with that is at the moment, Kat, is the fact that he the problem we have is that he has not got experience in winning, playing 2 games a week, multiple games. By the way, yeah, big up to I forgot somebody in the chat, and I just missed it. Big up to everybody. Big up to it's 44 people in the chat. It's absolutely mind blowing. At 12:49 in the evening, when I really should have had this. I should have had this show earlier. So I really do appreciate. Please like and subscribe to the show if you're new around here. Please do a favor for your boy, Mr. Box Office, the main event, the Professor of Truth and Entertainment. You're truly only one. And if you don't know, get to know. You should got to know already, the show already. If you're haters, keep on hating. If you're lovers, keep on loving, and keep watching the show, because there's still more to come on the show today. We still have to talk about our new a new midfielder that we're looking at. Well, not a new midfielder, a midfielder that used to be in the Premier League, went to Spain, and could come back into the Premier League. We're also going to be speaking about a Manchester United youngster that could be on his way to Tottenham Hotspur, linked with Tottenham Hotspur. We're also going to be speaking about the player that we're all talking about right now. Could be a good number 6 to be in our double pivot at Bayern Munich, who's surplus to requirements. We also will be talking about it on the show today if that we could be letting go of one of our wonder kids to go on loan. I think you know who I'm talking about, but we will keep you guessing on that one. And we'll also be speaking about a certain player that could be leaving a champion last season and coming to Spurs if Morgan's White transfer doesn't go ahead. So keep tuned in, guys, because we've still got a lot to do. It's still early day. It's still early, and we're still having fun and still having if you're still inside and you're not on your Friday night, enjoying your Friday night outside, you can enjoy it on Mr. Box Office TV. So keep yourselves tuned in, because we've still got a lot of things to get chatting about. Like I said, I think it's Matt. Big up to Matt. Big up to Matt in the chat. That was the guy that I would speak to. Big up to him. And I hope you're doing well as well. So that's just really my thoughts on the whole thing with Son. I think Son, for me, does need to move. I think we need to move him on. I do understand that he can't go now. Absolutely not. I think it might be a late one for him. I think it'll be a late one, something that late in the window. But I do feel that at the moment he's one that needs to go. It does also go back to the whole thing about sales, because it leads me to one, and it segues so beautifully to this guy, and I think people will know what I'm talking about. This guy, João Paulinho. If I spelt that wrong, I do apologise. Like I said, it's very late. But the rumours are, if to believe, Tottenham Hotspur have to sell to get this player in, which makes absolute sense because obviously we've got too many players in the squad. So we need to we need to move more space in the squad. So it's another one where we need it. And for me, I'm very frustrated with this one because I know really well, from what now we see now, the Matisse Tell deal was always going to happen. It looks like it was always going to happen. But for me, I do feel that there is a frustration for me because I do feel that we could have got him in earlier still. And he's really he's the main player that we do need. It was either going to be Douglas Luiz, who it looks like now he's coming to the Premier League. I think I saw a link him linked with Everton in recent times. There was links to Nottingham Forest, funnily enough. But now he's linked with Everton. So I do feel frustrated with the whole thing with us not getting the midfielder, because I think number 6 is very, very important. And Paulinho being available, and I know people say that he's of his age, but when you look at the midfielders we've got at the moment, it's very, very worrying. Everyone's waxing lyrical about Bergvall. He only had one season, and I think him being the best midfielder, he was voted one of the top players last season at the club. Let's be honest here, our midfield was absolutely awful last season, and no one really did well, put them were in shining glory last season. No one really. So I do feel, in my eyes, I do feel in my eyes that Bergvall got it because our midfield's absolutely shocking last season. Shocking. And you saw, to be fair, he had a major injury last season, and he's coming back into fitness. But he didn't really play well the first friendly against Reading, which, let's be honest, it's only friendly. It's a friendly that needs to, for the players to get back their fitness, and this is a good thing for Bergvall. But let's be honest here, unfortunately, he's going to have to improve on last season. So that leads me to say that we need some experience in that midfield, because that was a struggle last season. Sarr, even though he scored some goals and he's very athletic, Basuma, he can only play in a certain way. I've never really been impressed with Bentancur. Everyone knows my feelings on Bentancur. He has his, he's had his all right games, but I think he can do better. I do feel that they need to do better. So you get a Paulinho in, I think it does help, definitely. And I think with him, especially with the World Cup ahead of us, he needs game time. I mean, there was rumours that he wants to fight for his place, which is fair enough. You make the effort, you get the move that you want to go, top move like that to Bayern Munich. You're not going to just give up easily like that. No, but it's an opportunity there for Tottenham. Like I said, I think the opportunity to get Kudos in was a great opportunity because he needed somebody that was good value at the time because of the bad season he had the following previous season. Even though he had a good season the season before that, and sometimes you've got to take that risk with certain players. And it goes back to the whole thing with Grealish. Grealish has not been off. It's been off form for the last couple of years, but you can see the quality he has, and look at the quality players he has to compete with, and that can really, come in and improve our squad. And he can come in, make a big impact with some experience as well, like a Paulinho can do for Tottenham Hotspur. Now, there's not just Paulinho out there. We'll get on to another midfielder we'll link with again today, over the week as well. But it's, it just shows you there are opportunities out there. Opportunities. And this is an opportunity that we can't miss, because I tell you this for a fact. Man United are linked with him. And as soon as they get the opportunity, they will pull off that transfer. Because I don't think it will cost a lot for them to get him on board. And then that's really limiting our options. Now, it might not limit it completely. It might not limit us completely. And I know I love this. I absolutely love this. I think Destiny 5 was you could see the future of what I was going to talk about. Just see the future, Big up to Dan. I don't agree with this whole thing. I do think he's improved Brendan Johnson because of his goals, but as a player, he's been shocking. He's not a great player. He's not a good footballer, and I just think I think you saw that in the Reading game, where your frustrations with him. He's so limited. He's so limited. And again, Burval, I'm sorry, I just don't. It's just not fascinating enough for me. I mean, it's not the growth. I mean, you can see that he works a lot, very, very, very hard, and he's got something out. He's got moments in him, but moments is just not good enough. It's only good enough for him as a young player. But let's be honest here. There's other wonder kids out there that are doing much, much more, and they're getting their big moves. So I just think it's just because he came out from nowhere. Well, when he came in because of injuries, and he did well. He worked hard, but he's got to move. He's got to do better. He's got to do better. And the same with Johnson, because it's not going to be enough. Like I said, he's got similarities to Sterling, and look how Sterling is. Without pace, look what happens. When he lost that pace, look what's happened. It could easily happen to Brendan Johnson. And Raheem Sterling was a goal scorer. You have to always improve. You have to always improve. It's just so important. Big up to everybody in chat, by the way. Why are clubs not going for Grealish? Then Alex, listen. I know people don't agree with me, but I just think that sometimes you've got to take a risk, Jimmy Hotspur. I think you've got to take a risk, and I think he is, it's a good opportunity for me. Obviously, people are worried about his temperament and the way he is, his attitude. Has he got focus? But sometimes, if you look at it, he's in a team that is very challenging. It's very competitive, and I do think he needs a club that he's got the opportunity to really get back to what he loves. Being a maverick, because that's what Grealish is. He's a maverick. He's got that personality. He's got that sort of personality that you saw with Gascoigne, Paul Gascoigne, you know, David Ginola, you know, top players like that, Eric Cantona, you know, those sort of players. And you know, he needs a little bit more freedom, a little bit. And I think that you see the best of Jack Grealish. And I think that would be really good for Tottenham Hotspur, you know, and that connection with a Maddison, you know, compete with Maddison to keep me on his toes sometimes as well. You know, you can mix it up sometimes. You know, I just think it's a good opportunity. I think these players are not bad overnight. Yes, he's not been on form, but like I said, if you look at the context of it, he's you know, he's competing in a big team, you know, with players that are top players, top players, and it's a small squad that he's got to do really well in every single game, or he's dropped, and that's what happens. Pep Guardiola only wants the best and standards. That's it. He's very, very competitive. And yeah, I don't know whether you're guessing Destiny 5. Big up to you. Big up to you. But yeah, I'm talking about this man. I am going to be talking about this man because we were linked. We are linked. We are linked with Kobe Manu, which is an interesting one for me. It does fit to what our purpose is, what our focus is. We're going for young players with high potential. And obviously, he didn't have the best of seasons last season. Now, by what I heard from Ruben Amorim, it looks like he is still part of their plans. But Man United obviously have got financial constraints as well because they're not in the Champions League next season. If Tottenham Hotspur are interested in Kobe Manu and Man United look like to sell, that's pure profit for them, obviously, because of FFP, and I don't want to really go into that profit and sustainability. But yeah, I know some people say, "Oh, I don't want to buy Kobe Manu because we don't want to help Man United." But does Kobe Manu? Question is, does Kobe Manu improve on the midfielders that we've got? I asked that in the chat. Big up to Matt Coping, by the way. Big up to you. I'd rather take Matoma. I know a lot of people take Matoma. I think I would take Matoma as well, to be honest with you, mate. I would take Matoma. I think a lot of people take Matoma. The only problem with Matoma is at the moment he's on form at the moment. So if Matoma says he wants to leave, top teams are going to be looking at him. And then we're kind of in a queue. And I think it's more likely that Matoma will go for the bigger team, to be honest with you. So that's why I'm saying at the moment, I think Tottenham Hotspur have got to go for that player downwards, you know, that next stage of that player, or take a risk on the player that, you know, is at the top, but has lost a little bit of their way a little bit, and try and get the best out of them, like Harry Redknapp used to do back in the day, like Alex Allardyce, you know, David Moyes, you know, Martin O'Neill used to do with certain players like Stan Collymore, you know, Ewan Djorkaeff, you know, Davis, Sam Allardyce. You know, this is the thing. So I know people would like you know, this is why I'm saying, going back to the whole thing with a Kobe Manu, and you know, it's even looking at someone like because I know that people will be a bit funny about this one, but even a Conor Gallagher, who have been linked with as well. You know, a Conor Gallagher could be a good option. Could be a good option as well. But, I mean, again, because of his Chelsea links as well, because he used to be at Chelsea, I mean, I don't rate him as an actual player. I think as an athlete, he's a fantastic athlete. He does a good job, you know, and he works so hard, and he's so effective. But I don't think he does anything flashy. No, he does the job, and he you know, he's like a McGuinn for Aston Villa. Nothing flashy, but gets the job done. But I mean, I understand that because of his Chelsea links, it could be a problem. It could be a massive problem, obviously. You know what I mean? So, you know, this is the thing. I look at those two players and I sit there and think, yeah, I would definitely, you know, I could see Tottenham going for that sort of player. You know, we were, you know, it was quite well reported that our previous manager really wanted him in the team. He really wanted him. I know people. I can see it in the chat right now. Big up to Destiny Sue Smith. He says, he would never come here. He's a Chelsea through and through. Jimmy Hotspur says, please no, Gallagher need better quality like Wharton. Well, Wharton, unfortunately, is not cheap. You know, Crystal Palace don't need to sell. They do not need to sell whatsoever. So it's gonna be onwards of over 90 million or something like that, which I don't think Tottenham Hotspur will do. I know there was rumours that we'll do whatever it takes to get a Wharton, but I've never really seen Tottenham Hotspur go over that sort of money. I think that I can't remember what's our big signing. What is our big signing? Our massive signing. I don't know, but I definitely would. I just don't see that happening anytime soon, because I don't think we've actually gone over 100 million for a player. I don't know in our ownership, within our ownership, I don't think we've ever done that. So that's I just don't see that happening at all, really, to be honest with you. But yeah, I just think that for me, I do think for me, it's a good shout for me, really, Conor Gallagher. I do think, and a Kobe Manu, I don't think it's going to happen. From what I saw from Ruben Amorim, but it does fit to what Tottenham Hotspur go for profile wise. I think it does fit to what Tottenham Hotspur look for in the profile in the player. So we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see on that one. And then Tottenham Hotspur also linked with Harvey Elliott. And now, for me, the problem with Harvey Elliott is he the man at Liverpool? Now, he's done really well because Liverpool, you know, it's a very competitive squad, Liverpool. And he's done really, really well. And, you know, if you saw the under-21s competition, which they won, congratulations to them, showing what future we've got in the England team going forward in the future. You saw him really come into his own, Harvey Elliott. It's obviously lack of game time at Liverpool, and Liverpool are making some huge signings. Harvey Inverts, you know, there's so many other strikers. You know, they brought a big striker in as well, and reportedly, Isaac is looking to go there as well. So yeah, they're making some massive signings, absolutely massive signings. By the way, big up to Rich C, big up to you. Yeah, absolutely agree there. And big up to Matt Coping. I mean, I love Robertson in my team. Absolutely, I think he's a fantastic player, absolutely fantastic player. And big up to Destiny 5. We missed the bus on Wharton, way too expensive. Yep, absolutely. We chose Gray instead, and look how that worked out. Arts Lubo on that one. But the point is, though, big up to Lubo, by the way. Big up to Lubo. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, for me, I think going back onto the Harvey Elliott situation, I think he'll be a good signing. But I think the difference is right now with the whole thing Grealish, difference between Grealish and Harvey Elliott is Harvey Elliott up to being the main man at Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, Grealish understood how to be the main man when he was at Aston Villa. So you're getting a lot of experience doing that. He wasn't the main man at Liverpool, obviously, because of the caliber of players that they have at the moment. So I don't know whether it will, it's really for him to really nail down and be the main man at Tottenham Hotspur. And I think he's got the chance to do it. I think he's got the qualities to do it, definitely. But then it goes back to the whole thing about coaching. And can you see a player like Elliot getting coached and getting coached to be a better player? I think it's a good opportunity, definitely. And I think for me, if Morgan Gibbs White signing is not going to happen, I think we do need to move on very quickly because another team is going to go and get a Harvey Elliott, and then we might look at it and regress it if we don't get him. So I do think we have to make a decision on Morgan Gibbs White so we can start looking at other targets, and that might be a good opportunity. I know that we were linked with a lot of players earlier on in the window from France, and I know they're linked to some teams in the Premier League now, and we could miss out on those players as well. And it could be similar with Harvey Elliott, and I don't think we should do that, especially now that we've seen some of our youngsters that are getting loaned out now because it looks like now they need game time and they're not going to get it at Tottenham. And that player leads me to segue to the last subject, and I'll have to look the last subject because it's getting late now. Again, big up to everybody who's watching. Please like and subscribe. Do your boy a favor, a big favor. The main event, the Professor of Truth and Entertainment, the ratings killer. Do us a big favor and keep subscribing to the channel. I don't know the numbers tonight, but you've been really good tonight. I mean, for a very late night stream, it's been really, really good to see the numbers today, and it's really good to see that people are really here to watch and support. Even if you don't agree, if you've got anything to say, please put it in the chat. Please put it in the chat. I don't agree with this though. I do. I mean, Jimmy's asked me a question right now in the chat. He says, and he's been good tonight. It's been really good tonight. Alex, would you take Luke Shaw? No. I think he's another. No, too injury prone for me, and for me, I think, yeah, I just think I don't think we need that sort of hassle. We've already got Richarlison, who's injury prone. I don't think we need I don't think we need another player like that. I don't think we need. I just don't think it really makes a difference. I think you need someone to compete again. I'm not looking for world-class players. No, I'm definitely not looking for world-class players. I'm looking for players that can compete. And if you can't compete, I don't want you in my team. 110%. I don't need you in my team. It's just pointless. And yeah, for me, that just isn't the signing I want. I just don't need that in my team. I think we need somebody that can compete. But it leads me to also say to this man, Mikey Moore, linked with a move away from Tottenham. I think one of the clubs was linked was West Brom. So the championship. And I think this is something that needs to happen. I do. I really do. Because I think he needs game time, needs consistency. And with that consistency, you'll be able to see whether he can grow as a player, develop as a player. And I think that's just important for him right now. I think it just needs to happen for him to move forward in his career. Because like I said, young players, if they're going to be in the squad, they've got to compete. And at the moment, unfortunately, Mikey Moore isn't competing. And people can say, oh, he's 18, he's this, he's that. Yeah, but when you big him up, like you did with Burval, look what's happened. Big players, and unfortunately now, it doesn't matter if you're young now, you're good enough now, because you see how many young players are out there now that are 18 and they're in the first team right now. They're in the first team. So it's the excuses of it being too young now are wearing thin. Because they're called Wonder Kids for a reason. And people hype them up so much. We're doing it with Vucevic right now. Who, let's be honest here, I don't even know if he's going to be good enough to stay in the team. He might end up being on loan again. But if you're in the squad, you need to compete. And if he's not competing and he's not going to get regular game time, like Stelios said, you need to give him. And the thing is, though, it goes back to the whole thing about that, Thomas Frank. Does Thomas Frank have the time to train up all these players? Does he have all these? Does he have the time to do that? Because if he's doing really badly, or he's on a bad run of games, of losing games, does he have the time to bring in a youngster? Does he have the time to take a risk on a youngster if his job's on the line? There might be a lot of goodwill towards Thomas Frank, but I don't know if he can take that risk. And that's the problem at the moment. That's the dilemma he had. This is the dilemma that other managers have had in the past. And look who loses out, the youngster. But, this is the thing. I feel there are so many, and guys, be careful in the chat. Let's keep it on football. Guys. Yeah, because we're here to talk about football, right? But big up to everybody who's watching. Big up to you. But yeah, I mean, I do agree with what Sue says here. Big up to Sue. She's such a great support. Big up to her. Big up to you. The kids had no coaching and nurturing from Ange. I'm sure we'll understand Thomas Frank and his coaches. Well, this is the thing. And Destiny 5, you don't need to apologize. I'm not a school teacher here. It's just we just keep it on football. Yeah, we can have a go at certain people sometimes. I want to debate them, so it's fine. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna have a go, I'm gonna debate them. You know what I mean? I'm not here to, that's not how I do things. But you've got to keep on football. You know what I mean? We got to, we're not going to get into any drama like that. Because let's be honest, it's just only football. You know what I mean? I do feel, we've got to be ruthless. Like I said, it's like if he can't compete, if he's not getting in the team, like the whole thing, like I said, with Donnelly. You know, if he can't get into the team, sorry, you kind of made the decision for you. It's kind of made the decision for you. You know, so I don't know. So for me, I think we've got to be ruthless with youngsters. And again, this was a good point that was made on the Spurs 5. Again, it was again. I want to debate this guy, but he made a good point about this. If and I do think I've made this point as well. So I think it's kind of like, well, it's an obvious point. Sean said, he says, well, you know, just because they don't make it into the first team doesn't mean they're a failure. If you sell them, you still, you still achieved something because they are making they are whatever we sell them for, we're making revenue, we're making profit. And this is what Chelsea do all the time. Chelsea have a conveyor belt of youngsters, and they've got no problem with selling them. That's their mark. That's their business. The academy. That's how they make money. Now, I mean, hopefully, Mikey Moore can make it in the Tottenham team. Hopefully, but again, you got to be making more Mikey Moores or a Vucevic or a Donnelly. You need more of those sort of players. You need to be more sort of players like this. Continue producing all these players. Because Arsenal's shown it. Arsenal sold a lot of players that came from their academy that looked as, great prospects. But as soon as, they were going still, sold them on, made a profit. And look what they've done with that profit. Who have they brought in today? Who are they going to bring in? Gorkres. Zubamendi. To make their squad better. Competing. Going for championships. Yes, they're losers because they haven't won nothing yet. And look who's won the Europa League. That's a little bit banter to the rivals. To Arsenal. But, it just shows you. And unfortunately, we've got to be ruthless with players. And it's the same with Mikey Moore, unfortunately. Big up to everybody, by the way. Big up to everybody. Big up to Brian as well, coming back. Big up to you, mate. Big up to you. For someone that doesn't agree with me, and a big up to you. This is the thing. I love this guy. He's my boy. I love this guy. I love Brian. Might not agree with him, but it's like I said, it's only football. I look at Chelsea and Liverpool and think what the effing hell we are doing here. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Big up to Daniel. When I'm saying he's in the Football League because there is test is easy to pass, then the Premier League, one, he's not a Premier League goods back to start with. They don't like him. Didn't really understand that one, Daniel, but big up to you. Big up to you with that comment. Big up to you. Here we go. Yeah. This is dodgy. I know. Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to try and keep away from that because I don't want to go into. Yeah, I mean, big up to you though. Big up to you, Daniel. You're always supporting, bro. Big up to you. Big up to you. Big up to Miss Bunny, by the way. Big up to Miss Bunny. How can't we deal with over lines smoothly? Who has buyout clause? This Morgan White deal is a bit embarrassing. I can't lie. Yeah, it is embarrassing. I've got to be honest. I'm bored of it, Miss Bunny. But big up to you. Big up to you. I need to do more shows like this. I need to do more shows like this because it gets it off my chest. And I'm sorry to you guys. I am apologizing to you guys because I need to do more of this. I need to do more shows like this. Well, even if it's a short show, I just need to say more because at least then it gets what I need to get out of my head. And yeah, But yeah, it's getting that time where I need to wrap up the show. Big up to everybody who's watched in and watched and liked the show. Hopefully you all like the show and subscribed. Please help me to get to 2,000 subscribers, and we can move forward all together. Please share the links, even if people don't agree. This is the thing. It's like when people tell me that, oh well, you don't talk, you don't, you don't talk any sense. Well, I've got a show on my own. If you want to listen to me there without anyone interrupting me, come and listen to it. And if you don't agree with me, to come and chat and tell me why. Tell me why. That's the whole point of me doing the show on my own. But you don't turn up. None of you turn up that don't agree with me. You don't turn up. So if you don't turn up, what are you talking about? But you tell these big YouTubers like Sava, I see in the comments saying, don't invite Mr. Box Office, Sean, don't invite Mr. Box Office. You tell everyone, tell every big channels, we are Tottenham TV. Oh, don't invite that bit Office. He's awful. He's awful. He's awful. Okay, cool. Well, I'm here right now. Come and troll me now. I'm here. I'm here right now. But you don't come. You don't turn up. You don't say nothing. So really, you're just doing it for just to be show. You know what I mean? So I'm still here. I'm here waiting for you. You don't hear nothing from you. Time was ticking, and it was ticking a long time ago. You know what I mean? Ticking so long ago that it still don't see you. You know what I mean? It's as much time as you watching you talking absolute rubbish in the comments saying I need to disappear. Well, look at this face right now. Look at this face right now. I'm still here. I'm still here after how many years? You know what I mean? Even though right now I'm the most calmest I've been for a long time. You know what I mean? You don't see that much of me singing songs about, back to life, back to reality. You know what I mean? I don't sing it that much now, don't I? You know what I mean? You don't see me that loud like others have been loud. You know what I mean? I'm actually very nice. You know what I mean? So when people say what they're saying about me, I'm actually the most calmest I've been for a long time. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to, change it up a little bit, make it a bit more edgy a little bit, the content a little bit, because, I don't think I'm going to be too animated this season, if I'm really honest with you, because I don't think the manager's going to say something stupid. Even though, like we discussed earlier, I think he could be a little bit more ruthless, like I explained earlier anyway. But on that note, it's time to wrap up the show. We'll be back soon, maybe back tomorrow. Depends on the weather. I know Sunday won't happen anyway, but that's for me to know and you to not find out anyway. But yeah, big up to everybody in the chat. Big up to everybody who's watching. Big up to everybody who's watching around the world. Thank you for all the people that supported. Please subscribe, like, and subscribe to your main event. Your boy from the. I've completely lost my thought on that one. But your main event, your Professor of Truth and Entertainment, your Professor of Truth and Entertainment, the ratings killer, the people's champion, and everyone's guilty pleasure. And if you don't know, get to know. And you should have got to know the show already. And as we wrap up this show, and thank you to everybody who's watched the show, please like and subscribe. And as always, if you didn't know, get to know, support your boy, Mr. Box Office, subscribe and like, and come on, you Spurs. And we're out.